Hi, I'm Rachel Genzer with Workforce Solutions Rural Capital Area, and I'm with Christina Trevino at Buda's Brightside in Buda. So, Christina, tell me, what is Buda's Brightside?
We are a day hab for adults with developmental disabilities, so 18 and up. If you have autism, Down syndrome, cerebral palsy, anything under the developmental disability umbrella, we work with those guys after high school, and that's when life starts, right? That's when you start to figure yourself out. And oftentimes, this community gets kind of fallen through the cracks at that time period. So our job is to help them find a purpose, help them continue education, help them make friends in the community.
Yeah. So tell me, how long have you had this place?
So the program's been running for about 14 years now. It was previously called Terry's Day Hab. I was looking for a place to have I was fostering an individual at the time, so I was looking for a place that was suitable for him. I stumbled upon this place. Terry Troop was running it then. We both just kind of like exploded together in our ideas and our passion as to what we wanted to see happen for this community, and then it just snowballed into this giant, wonderful, fun monster that we have now.
That's awesome. So tell me, like, day to day, what goes on here?
So everything is rather routine in here. Everybody likes routine. Routine is part of mental health and just keeping a happy inner peace. And so when they come in, they have their free time activities, so whatever it is that they want to do. So I will offer some manipulative activities for everybody, but a lot of times our guys have been here for years, and so they're super comfortable. So they come in with their lunches, or they'll get on the computer for a while, or some people come in with a morning movie, and so it's like hangout coffee time in the morning, and then we kick off our coffee shop in the morning. It's a development skill, an employment skill that we try to do, because maybe one day we can work at Starbucks or Sweet Cakes for You or something like that. So we want to practice that interaction. When we're doing that, we're practicing speech and then how we handle each other. So they'll make coffee and tea and cocoa for each other in the morning time. Then we jump into a calendar time where we try to make it just feel like sitting at the coffee shop with our friends, like gabbing about like what the weather's like and what are we going to do today and what did you guys do this weekend. We try to make it as comfortable and an adult as possible. Yeah. And then again, we're just trying to develop all skills. We want to help all the way around. So we'll jump into some exercise time. We'll go for a walk. Mm-hmm. When I fostered, that was one thing that I learned because I was a teacher by nature, and so I remember doing this before I fostered and thinking like, why aren't they just getting it right? Like, it's so easy. Like, I've got them from 8 to 4. They do everything right. I don't have any issues. Why are you having issues at home? Well, then I brought him home, and then I was like, okay, so being a mom is way different. Like, this 24-hour-a-day thing is much harder. And the reality is, like, the world doesn't slow down for our skill level and what our pace is. And so I found myself tying his shoes when I knew that he could tie his shoes, but the bank was about to close and we had to go. So I was like, sorry, dude, I'm doing it. And then I was able to see how much our friends aren't able to pick up on hobbies that they like because the world is just making the choices for them. And so that's a big deal to me, is having a lot of free time and space in here for them to develop their likes and their hobbies, and so that it could be on a pace that suits them.
So earlier you were talking about like coffee time, how it's helping them develop skills that they might transfer into a job, a workplace. So being that right now it's National Disability Employment Awareness Month, tell me, what would you say to employers if one of your guys decides to go apply at a Starbucks? What would you say to that employer about what these individuals are capable of doing?
Yeah. I would say, I've got a jackpot. I've got a room full of people that are going to make you like a ton of money just because our personalities are just out of this world, blossoming and blooming. The interactions that you get to have with these guys, they're so excited to have volunteer experiences, to have work experiences. You've got a huge window of people who want to work. But I've had moms approach me with that same mind frame, like, hey, nowhere is employing. Can we try this again? Maybe employers will, think a little bit differently about having our guys work there. There's a huge skill set in here. The time frame is different. No, we're not going to work 8 hours a day. But, I mean, you have got a huge community of abled individuals that aren't tapped into the workforce. Mm-hmm. And what's awesome about the way that we develop here is we do have community support. So when you are hiring these guys, you are hiring an aid that comes with them to help them with their skill.
That's awesome.
I mean, yeah, it is. When you train somebody new, I mean, that's a stressful time period for somebody in management, because you need to make sure that you kind of need to be on top of them, making sure that they're doing what they're supposed to do all the time. And our friends come with that. They come with somebody training them constantly and making sure that they're able to develop that skill. And again, I mean, it is just brightening up a room. We do bake sales and craft sales, and when we go into places, those like boring offices, I'm sorry, I say boring offices because look around, like my place is like super colorful and like fragrant just as you walk in.
Yeah.
But it livens up the place. It like gives it a different energy that you don't get every day, and that is just because these guys are awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome. So why don't you show us around?
Yeah.
What we do
So it's a very humble facility, but it's filled with a lot of love and a lot of color. So this is our kitchen space where they do their coffee shop. We roll out their coffee bar, and then there's one barista a day. They all line up.
That's awesome.
A lot of our friends have goals within their PDP, their personal development plan, and constantly everybody's goal is learning to wait. I mean, patience is a virtue, and they say that because it's hard. It's hard to be patient. And so we kind of try to build it into an active practice, not so much a clinical observance. And so that's why they like line up for their coffee shop and do it in here. We also cook together on Tuesdays, and we go to the library on Thursdays. So Thursday they'll find a cookbook, they'll look through, pick out their recipe that they want to make. We'll go to HEB all together. It's their job to find all the stuff, and HEB in Buda is wonderful. Shout out to HEB because the staff is patient. Even like the patrons know, like we'll pass through and they're like, oh yeah, we forgot it was Monday, because we take a big group and we're carrying through those aisles, but it's a goal for everybody to, okay, Jason, find the tomatoes for me, and we might pass by the tomatoes 3 or 4 times, and we're gonna get it. We're gonna find them. So then they're able to cook in here on Tuesdays and have like a family meal together as well.
Very cool.
So down here we have got an office space, which is nothing exciting. It's always messy. I wish I could say differently. Boys' bathroom, Star Wars themed, because who doesn't love Star Wars?
I love that.
Back here is our game space. It kind of speaks for itself. And again, these like playrooms or active practice rooms were built so that you can try to make choices for yourself. You can pick hobbies that you like and dislike. So in our free time between the AM and the PM class, we encourage them, okay, who wants to have like a shoot off? Who wants to, this one is the popular one.
Yeah.
And we've got games and everything for them. And so this is for them to help develop what is your likes and dislikes, because they're so used to teachers plugging it in for them. So this is the fun space.
Fun.
Yeah.
Love it.
So we'll come around this way. And this is kind of where the meat of everything happens. So this was built out of need. So what we have in here is a garage that has been busted open and made into their workroom. So our AM and PM activities happen in here.
Very cool.
And we just makeshift. I mean, I've got 34 friends on roll. Half of our friends are at a field trip today. But when we've got all those bodies in there, we just break down the tables, line the wall with the tables, and make do with the space that we have, which is small. But so we come through here. We're doing the morning work. Over here, we have our second kitchen. So again, the Terry Troop, the need just kept falling on her lap, and it was, what do we have? We have a duplex, so we're just gonna make it work.
Yeah.
So this comes in handy because we do bake sales and things to that nature where they're able to make their own money, kind of an entrepreneur program. And so we're utilizing both kitchens. So they're making chocolate chip cookies in here, and they're making dog treats over there, or whatever you have it. This side over here is our sensory side. What do we have? Yeah. Oh gosh, Coraline. Coraline's terrifying. But so this space was made particularly in mind for the gentleman that I was fostering. He, at the time, I was 21 and he was 61, and I needed a place that was like nice and quiet for him. You were here this morning, and when everybody's in here, it's loud and it's busy, and it can become really overwhelming sensory wise.
Yeah.
And so this is the quiet space. So if it becomes too much for you over there, you can come over here, throw the weighted blanket on you, and like take a breath and breathe. And it was also built, like I said, for my Lily. He was older, and so the time frames for these day habs and group homes where they were waking up at 6 a.m. and they weren't getting home till 5. There is no program where you kind of retire out.
Yeah.
It's just until the facility can no longer handle you, then you go to, you know, a senior living facility, which is oftentimes not equipped for this. So we try really hard to make a setting that is suitable for all ages. And so this is for our seniors. Like, if you don't want to participate and you're 72, absolutely, I get it. Come sit down. You can watch a movie. We'll put in John Wayne, and you get to like chill out and take a nap. Because the state hasn't built that, is not good enough. So we did. So this is our older guys, and for our guys kind of with higher sensory issues.
So speaking on that, what are the age ranges?
So it's 18 and up. So the school district, you can stay from 18 to 21. So we can get friends as young as 18. But then, I mean, I've had friends as old as 76 in here.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we love them till we can't love them anymore.
Awesome.
So over here we have our specialized therapy room. So this is our hands-on sensory room. So we work with soundly speaking therapies, and they provide a speech therapist, an occupational therapist, and a physical therapist. And so this is where they do one-on-one. So when the therapist is not in here, the friends are allowed to come in and, you know, tinker around and utilize it as they want. But when there's a therapy in session, the therapist will come in one-on-one and do their hour-long therapy or whatever it is. And all of the things that we have are made for those individuals. We have occupational items, we have physical items, we have things to help with speech and whatnot. Soundly Speaking Therapies is a wonderful company. Every therapist that we've had come through there make everything very hands-on and not clinical. And they've been with these guys for almost as long as I've been with these guys. And it makes it easier for our parents and caregivers because you're not dropping off a day hab and then having to go to speech and then having to, you know, get home for a Zoom. It's a one-stop shop. We make it much easier. If we work as a team, all these clinical therapists, then we could actually make a difference, because doing an hour a day once a week and then having to miss therapy because of, you know, an appointment here or an appointment there, we're not getting anywhere that way. But if we all work together, then we can make it something that's actually, you know, beneficial to these individuals.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome.
Teamwork.
Absolutely. And I mean, after speaking to a lot of the friends that come here, they love it. You know,
we try.
Just, you know, the things that they have said about it. You know, Kayleen was telling us about learning sign language.
Yes.
And how she wasn't really social until she started coming here. And those are the great things too that help them in everyday life. You know, learning those skills and that again will transfer over to the workplace. Yeah,
everything's friend based in here. It is my friends. When I started, I was very young, so it felt really weird calling, because the paperwork says consumer. I was like, that feels like they're taking from me. I don't like that verbiage. And they're way older than me. This just doesn't feel right. So it is very friend-based. And a lot of times when people come in, they're not used to socializing because they were in a trailer in special education or had their own hallway. So the sensory and the interaction becomes a lot for them. So we did have a lot of like, hey, let's have a girl talk. Like, you need to cool down and let's go talk about it.
Yeah.
So we try to make everything very friend-based in here because, I mean, they are my friends. During the winter freeze, I got so many phone calls from them. Their parents were driving by my duplex like, are you okay? So we have built, it is a community. It's not just on and off Monday through Friday, that's it. No, I mean, we go to the movies together. We do weekend activity. We're going to be at Buda Halloween passing out candy. We are safer as a community. We're stronger as a community. So making it not just a 9 to 5 is what really makes a difference.
Yeah, that's great. Is there anything else that you would want to share with us?
Anything else I would want to share? Just more than not, how much we are excited to be in the community, how thankful we are for the city of Buda for embracing us, and just crossing our fingers that we can bust open more doors. It makes a difference in my day, and as I take our friends in the community, I see it make a difference in everybody else's day. So
that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being part of this. Thank you for showing us your home, because I mean it's their home away from home, your home away from home, I'm sure. So again, Christina Trevino with Buda's Brightside. I'm Rachel Genzer, and thank you for joining us.